At an animal shelter named Oakville, every afternoon, as the lively sounds of barking and cries from the animals gradually faded, they gave way to softer yet melancholy noises. In the last kennel lay a large pit bull named Rocky, motionless, with brindled fur dulled by neglect and illness. Rocky's journey began in a backyard breeding operation where he was treated more like merchandise than a companion. Abandoned on the streets when he failed to sell, he struggled to survive, facing hunger and abuse. Eventually, animal control rescued him and brought him to the shelter, where staff tirelessly worked to restore his health. However, the years of neglect had left him fearful and withdrawn, making potential adopters hesitant. One day, Clara Thompson and her 3-year-old daughter, Claire, visited the shelter. Claire's innocent enthusiasm led them to Rocky's kennel, where she instantly felt a connection with the sad pit bull. Though Clara initially had reservations about Rocky's appearance, Claire's compassion moved her to give him a chance. They spent time with him, and to everyone's surprise, Rocky responded positively to Claire's gentleness, wagging his tail for the first time in months. Touched by the bond forming between her daughter and Rocky, Clara decided to start the adoption process. After a home inspection to ensure a safe environment, they completed the adoption. That night, Claire comforted Rocky as he adjusted to his new home, singing him a lullaby to ease his anxiety. In the following weeks, Rocky's health improved thanks to the vet's care and the love from his new family. Claire took on the responsibility of caring for him, and their bond deepened. Rocky transformed from a frightened dog into a joyful companion, flourishing under Claire's affection and Clara's gentle guidance. As Rocky's first year with the Thompson family approached, Claire planned a celebration to mark their journey together. The day was filled with joy, ending with a touching moment as Clara reflected on how Claire's love had helped Rocky heal. They realized their family was bound not just by blood, but by love and compassion. In the small town of Glenwood, a dog also had the power to transform someone's past for the better. Henry Thompson, a retired carpenter, led a quiet and lonely life after the passing of his wife, Margaret. His days were spent tending his garden and reminiscing about the past. But the sense of solitude lingered with him day after day. One night, while reading a book, Henry noticed a hooded figure attempting to break into his house. Panic struck him as he realized he was no match for the intruder. Just as fear threatened to overwhelm him, a large dog appeared, growling fiercely and forcing the would-be burglar to flee. This unexpected guardian, whom Henry named Shadow, quickly became an essential part of his life, filling the void of loneliness. As days went by, Henry grew increasingly attached to Shadow, who embodied both strong protection and gentle companionship. However, Henry worried about the mysterious origin of the dog. He asked around the neighborhood, but no one seemed to know where Shadow had come from. Meanwhile, Glenwood was experiencing a rise in crime, which only heightened Henry's unease. One stormy night, the intruder returned, this time with accomplices. Empowered by Shadow's presence, Henry confronted them. In a fierce struggle, Shadow defended Henry, eventually driving the attackers away. Though victorious, Shadow was injured, prompting Henry to call for help. A veterinarian assured Henry that Shadow would recover, but the ordeal made Henry realize how much the dog had reignited his will to live. Determined to uncover Shadow's past, Henry came across an old newspaper article about a family that had lost their guard dog, Max, during a robbery. The description matched Shadow, leading Henry to visit the family's farm. There, he met Martha, who recognized Max from a photo. They learned that Max had once been a beloved member of their family, and Henry offered to reunite them. Martha and Henry decided to share custody of Max, happily giving the dog two loving homes. As they grew closer, their families bonded over their mutual love for Max. However, the threat of crime still loomed over Glenwood. When the attackers returned, Max once again proved his courage, helping to capture them and restore peace to the town. After the incident, Max was celebrated as a hero, and Henry found a renewed sense of purpose, leaving behind his former loneliness. He and Martha reflected on how Max had brought them together, teaching them about love and resilience. Their story became a local legend in Glenwood, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, love and friendship can transform lives and create extraordinary warmth. Another incredible story of courage and the bond between humans and animals involves a young girl named Emma, who encountered a pack of wolves threatening 5 bear cubs in a wild forest near her home. While her parents, John and Lisa, recognized the danger and tried to retreat, Emma felt an overwhelming urge to help the cubs and rush to their rescue. Despite her parents' warnings, she picked up branches and stones to distract the wolves, successfully diverting their attention. As chaos unfolded, John joined Emma, trying to protect her, while Lisa guided the frightened cubs to safety. Just when the situation reached a breaking point, a mysterious growl from a larger creature scattered the wolves, and the family regrouped. However, their relief was short-lived when Lisa suddenly called for help, prompting John to dash toward her voice. He found Lisa leading the bear cubs away from a threatening female wolf. In a moment of paternal bravery, John positioned himself between the predator and the cubs, wielding a branch as his weapon. The confrontation grew tense, but the distant howl of another wolf distracted the female, prompting her to retreat and allowing the family to breathe a sigh of relief. Even amid danger, Emma's confidence shone through, and she led her family deeper into the forest to escape the wolves. They found temporary shelter in a hidden cave, but when an unexpected storm intensified, Emma insisted she knew a safe path home. Trusting her instincts, her parents decided to follow her. As they navigated through the storm, Emma's knowledge of the forest proved invaluable. When one of the lost bear cubs accompanied them, it was thanks to Emma's determined search that the cub was eventually reunited with its siblings. Nearing home, they encountered the cub's mother, a massive bear. Instead of attacking, the mother bear expressed joy at the family's efforts to save her cubs, creating a heartwarming moment of mutual understanding between humans and wildlife. This story teaches that children's curiosity and love for exploration can sometimes surpass adults' experience. So, never hesitate to encourage your children to explore and learn about the world around them. It may lead to extraordinary moments of connection and courage. Once again, 2 wounded souls found each other and unintentionally healed one another. In Vermont, Sarah Collins, 42, a successful author of a children's book series featuring the character Maxwell the Brave, lived in a beautiful Victorian home with her beloved golden retriever, Max. However, her journey began 15 years earlier, during a period of profound grief following the loss of both her parents in a car accident. Seeking solace, Sarah began volunteering at a local animal shelter, where she met Max, a frail puppy born with a congenital heart condition. Despite warnings about his health, Sarah decided to adopt him. As Max grew stronger under Sarah's care, he also brought joy into her life, helping her recover from the pain of her past. Their bond deepened, leading to a chance encounter with Thomas Reed, a local bookstore owner who encouraged Sarah to write stories about Max's adventures. This idea blossomed into a successful book series that resonated with readers, especially children facing their own challenges. Sarah's life transformed, with her connection to Max remaining the foundation of her happiness. The bond between Sarah and Max grew even deeper, allowing them to share thoughts and emotions through a spiritual connection. They began helping others, especially veterans suffering from PTSD, using their story to inspire hope and healing. Sarah authored a new book, The Space Between Heartbeats, chronicling their incredible journey, which became a bestseller. As they traveled, sharing their story, they discovered the profound impact of love and connection, not just between humans and animals, but among all living beings. Through their journey, Sarah learned that love transcends all boundaries, reshaping reality itself. Their story became a testament to the extraordinary possibilities within every moment, reminding others that the greatest miracle lies in the limitless capacity to love. While science may not prove the true power of love, everyone is encouraged to search for their own miracles. In a quiet, small town, the distant sound of a train echoed along the tracks. Amid the maze of houses lived Anne, a devoted nurse known for her kindness and strong community spirit. Recently, she lost her husband in a work accident, and Anne struggled with loneliness, finding solace only in her loyal German shepherd Tom, who entered her life shortly after her loss. One particular morning, Anne sensed something was off. Tom, usually calm and composed, became restless and alert, fixating on the sound of an approaching train. As Anne prepared breakfast, she noticed Tom barking frantically, sensing danger. When she rushed outside, she saw one of the train's cars dangerously tilted, speeding toward a crossing just a few meters from her home. Realizing disaster was imminent, Anne felt helpless as Tom dashed toward the tracks, seemingly aware of the gravity of the situation. As the train drew closer, Anne's heart raced with fear for Tom. The conductor, George, was unaware of the danger until he saw Tom on the tracks. He pulled the emergency brakes, but the train couldn't stop in time. In a desperate moment, Tom stood on his hind legs, barking with all his might, as if trying to convey the urgency of the situation. Miraculously, George managed to stop the train just in time to avoid hitting Tom. With the train halted, Anne rushed to Tom, overwhelmed with gratitude. George, still in shock, acknowledged Tom's bravery, realizing the dog had saved countless lives. However, the situation took a turn for the worse when they noticed one of the train's wheels teetering dangerously. Suddenly, one of the cars tipped over, spilling flammable materials onto the ground. As panic rose again, Tom instinctively ran toward the leaking fuel, barking loudly. Anne followed him and discovered safety valves that could stop the leak. Encouraged by Tom, she turned the valves, averting a potential explosion. Exhausted but relieved, Anne hugged Tom tightly, recognizing that he was not just a pet but a lifesaver to her and many others. News of Tom's bravery spread quickly throughout the town, and he became a symbol of hope and courage. For Anne, Tom was more than just a hero. He was the companion who healed her broken heart. Together, they were ready to face any challenge ahead, unafraid of danger and always willing to protect one another. That's the essence of what a pet can offer: unwavering loyalty, love, and the instinct to keep their owners safe, no matter the cost. As dawn broke, painting the sky with shades of pink and gold, a beautiful white horse named Storm stood in his stall, his deep brown eyes reflecting profound sadness. Emily Watson, a young woman in her 20s, approached the stable with a bucket of feed and a grooming brush. She had owned Storm for 3 years, inheriting him after purchasing him at an exclusive auction. Despite his stunning appearance, Storm was confined to his stall, and Emily's overprotectiveness had prevented him from experiencing the freedom he longed for. Emily cared for Storm with great devotion, meticulously grooming his coat and ensuring he was always clean. However, her dedication blinded her to the impact this lifestyle had on Storm. His once vibrant spirit began to fade, and he grew lethargic, yearning for the vast spaces outside his stall. It wasn't until her uncle David visited that Emily began to see the truth. Concerned about Storm's lack of exercise, David advised Emily to let him run free, explaining that horses need to stretch their legs and feel the wind in their manes. At first, Emily disagreed, fearing that Storm might get hurt or dirty, but she eventually relented and agreed to let him outside. Under David's guidance, they led Storm to a small, grassy field. As soon as Storm was released, he immersed himself in exuberance, joyfully galloping and regaining his spirit. Emily watched in awe, realizing that she had been stifling his true nature all along. In the weeks that followed, she learned to care for and train Storm properly, allowing him to thrive both physically and mentally. As Storm regained his strength, Emily's confidence blossomed as well. She began connecting with the world around her, making friends with other horse owners, and enjoying the fresh air. Encouraged by David, Emily entered Storm in a local competition where they earned second place, marking a significant milestone in their journey together. Inspired by her transformation, Emily decided to turn part of her property into a sanctuary for abandoned horses. With David's help, she created a safe haven for horses in need, where they could experience the freedom that Storm once craved. As the sanctuary flourished, Emily's reputation within the equestrian community grew, and she began sharing her knowledge with others. Years later, Emily stood on a hill overlooking the sanctuary, reflecting on her journey. Storm, now older but still full of life, stood beside her. Emily realized that by allowing Storm to run free, she had also liberated herself, finding purpose and connection in her life. Together, they faced each day with renewed joy, embodying the transformative power of love, understanding, and freedom. You see, not all supervision is good for our furry friends. Deep down, they always have their own desire for freedom. Even with that freedom, they will never let you encounter problems if they are around. If you want to spread these messages, don't hesitate to share the video with your friends and subscribe to look forward to future videos. Goodbye, and see you again.